You can't think like a billionaire. Let's get something straight from the top. If you make an average salary or typical small business earnings, you have no idea how a billionaire thinks, and you never will. That's not an insult, that's reality. Because the second your bank account drops below 8 figures, your life becomes limited by things billionaires never even think about. Rent, food prices, gas pumps, medical bills, and whether your job will exist next month. But the real tragedy is how many working people think someone like Donald Trump understands them, that he's on their side, that he's just like them. He's not, and he never was. Trump doesn't work for a living. He never has. He doesn't build anything. He doesn't serve anyone. What he does is grift, and he's turned the entire US government into a personal ATM. This man has spent his entire life conning banks, cheating contractors, dodging taxes and weaponizing legal loopholes, and now he's playing the working class like a fiddle. How? By saying the right things, by performing the part, by pretending to be one of you while living in a damn resort, flying private or Air Force One, and charging taxpayers the highest legal room rates to stay at his own properties, plus all the government-paid security teams as well as costly transportation needed for a president, which only 75 days in amounts to nearly $30 million. He lives in a palace and pretends he came from the dirt. Never having worked, unlike the majority of America, he was born into riches. You live in reality and vote for the illusion. People vote from their own frame of reference. That's how propaganda works. The GOP tells you Democrats are elitist while handing billionaires the keys to the economy. They feed you red meat culture wars while they gut your labor protections, torch your social security, and turn your 401k into Wall Street gambling chips. It's a brilliant grift. They act like you. They wear trucker hats, pose with guns, pretend they give a damn about your small business, but make no mistake, they are not you. These are career politicians, hedge fund puppets, and corporate cronies using your vote to pass their laws, which benefit their donors. They don't feel what you feel. They don't fear what you fear because money shields them from it. Let's not ignore the obvious. Republicans have spent decades destroying public education. Why? Because critical thinkers are hard to manipulate, because a working class with self-awareness is dangerous. They don't want smart voters. They want obedient consumers who vote against their own interest because they've been trained to fear the wrong enemy. Fox News, right-wing radio, and YouTube propagandists have replaced textbooks, science, and truth. And now you've got a generation of Americans who think government is evil, billionaires are saviors, and somehow, Donald Trump is the second coming of Christ. You want to know what this next Trump term actually is? It's not governance, it's feudalism. You are a serf. He doesn't want to lead, he wants to be begged. He's setting tariffs like booby traps, then force companies and countries to come to him personally to get exceptions. That's how mob bosses operate. That's how kings of old ruled. Through tribute. Legal firms have already given him tens of millions in pro bono work. Why? To curry favor. Corporations are lining up to kiss the ring. Why? To survive. And all the while he pretends he's a victim of the system he's actively using to rob you blind. Here's a simple proposal. If you're worth more than $10 million, you shouldn't be allowed to run for public office. Why? Because you can't represent the average American. You don't know what it's like to struggle. You don't know what it's like to wait in an ER, to choose between medication and rent, to feel like the world is rigged against you. Because for you, it's not. That's not discrimination, that's math, that's reality. And if we don't start drawing the line, we'll keep electing actors playing the role of working man while cashing checks from billionaires behind the curtain. You can criticize all you want, but if you're not thinking critically, you're just echoing someone else's programming. And if you're still falling for the Trump routine after all this, after the indictments, the lies, the rack rate hotel scams, the hush money, the tariffs, the handouts to the rich, then you are part of the problem. Trump isn't sticking it to the elites, he is the elite. And every time you vote for him, you're not sticking it to the libs, you're sticking it to yourself. This country needs leaders who come from the working class, who feel the fire of real-life struggle, and who can't be bought because they've already lived without. Until then, the American dream will keep getting auctioned off to the highest bidder, and you'll keep waking up in someone else's nightmare.